Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I remain your girl Zion Creativity. Today's tutorial is on how to draft a two-sided elastic band, and I'll be working with this fabric. It's already folded on the wrong side, and the hip I'll be working with is 48 inches. 48 inches divided by 4, that gives me 12 inches. I added 2 inches seam allowance, and that gave me 14 inches. So I marked my 14 inches. I folded the fabric into two with 14 inches. From the starting point, I left 1.5 inches for my elastic allowance. That will serve as the band. I marked it on both sides and connected it together to give me a straight line. From that point, I marked the hip line measurement on 8 inches. That's my 8 inches hip line measurement. So for the hip circumference, the hip circumference is 12 inches plus 2 inches seam allowance. That gave me 14 inches. So I marked my 14 inches on the hip line. Same thing on the waistline, because it's going to have elastic, so we don't need any waist measurement. Now coming to the hem line, whatever you have at the hip line minus 2 inches, that is what you mark on the hem line. So your hip measurement will be on the hem line if you want it to be a fitted skirt, so no allowance. So while the 14 inches is on the hip measurement, at the hemline you have your 12 inches. I believe you understand what I mean. Then you connect it with a straight ruler. It's as simple as ABC. The front panel is ready, then you cut out. To cut the back panel, you fold your fabric again into two and place your front panel on the fabric folded. Then you leave 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance. So that's the 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance. Try and confirm if it's aligned together. Then you cut it out. It's as simple as that.
Do you love me, Matthew? I do. Honestly?
So after cutting it out, cut out the lining too. Then you make sure the lining is shortened by 2.5 inches if you want the Ankara to be folded in. So in short, if your length of the skirt is 41 inches, you add 2 inches for folding in with the lining, likewise 2 inches or maybe 1.5 for the elastic allowance. So I'm done turning it with the lining, and this is what I have. You can see the hem line that the Ankara is turned in. After taking the skirt shape and folded it into four, I used 5 inches for the skirt dart. So that is how I marked my 5 inches. the remaining measurement I have here is 7 inches, and that will serve for the elastic. So note that the skirt has already been shaped out, and that is my allowance, my seam allowance. So from the top to the length of the skirt, I have like 42.5 inches. So 41 will serve as the length of skirt, while 1.5 inches will serve as the elastic allowance. I mean the band allowance. So in all, I have 42.5 inches. So just mark the 1.5 inches for the band allowance. Mark it like so. And for the folded edge, I marked my 5 inches. Then the remaining 7 inches is for the elastic. So just bring out your elastic and measure the 7 inches twice. We need 2 pieces for both sides. So these are my elastic that will be inserted on both sides. So try and mark your measurements on all the sides. So that is my 5 inches and the 1.5 inches elastic allowance, the band allowance. Open it again and mark it on the back panel too. Mark it on the on the 4 sides. So the 5 inches and the 1.5 inches band allowance. This is just to give us a guide on where to sew the elastic. So the 5 inches will always start from the folded edge. I'm just trying to see if it remains the 7 inches for the elastic allowance. So once you open it like this, I'm trying to show you how to sew the elastic. So on that point, you just pin it down, then flip it to the other side and also pin it to where you marked your 5 inches. I believe you understand. Also flip it to this side too and pin it down to where you marked the 5 inches. Our skirt is almost ready. The next thing is for us to just try and sew it down. So that is how to achieve elastic, two-sided elastic band. So I'm done sewing that elastic down on both sides, and the next thing is for us to just fold everything in, to fold in our allowance. So by the time I spread the skirt open, my 5 inches has turned to the 10 inches. So once you open it like this, you have your 10 inches, and that will serve as the band, while the elastic will be on both sides. So just try and cross check if it's 1.5 inches that you have, then you begin to sew. So that is the band area that I'm sewing down. So once you get to the elastic side, make sure you don't sew on the elastic. Measure it well and make sure it's no more than 1.5 inches. Then you sew. That's the siding. You open it up and sew. So once you get to this side, you'll need to stretch your elastic to make it easy to sew. Our elastic band skirt is ready. This is the slit and this is the two-sided elastic on the band. You can see it's so beautiful and so easy to make. The area where there is no elastic is that place that we marked the dart on 5 inches. You remember the cloth was unfolded and we marked the dart on 5 inches. So by the time the cloth is spread out, you have that plain area on 10 inches. I believe you understand. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you found this tutorial helpful, please do not forget to click on the like button.